Hello everyone, this is day 3 of the round of 8. As you can see, it's Light versus Rush, our previous ASL champion, going up against the second place finisher from the season before that. So this is going to be an epic TVT, I think. Scan, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I'm excited to watch one of those two players because in Korean StarCraft community, they're pretty much kind of like valuing each other, like who's better at this matchup and who's better at this type of matchup. Like, for example, we have seen Rush's TVZ is absolutely beast. We have seen it in a couple seasons ago, 1 or 2 seasons ago, and Light showed an incredible of his TVP, but no one has determined who's the best in TVT matchups. So both of the players are top 10 players, and they're going to be competing each other in this round of 8. I'm excited to see who's going to be winning.
Yeah, I definitely want to see who's going to come out on top, because for a while now, people have been arguing, okay, who's the actual number 1 Terran right now? Is it Light, since he won last season, since he's been such a good player for so long? Or has players like Rush and Royal actually overtaken him? So finally, we're going to get to see a clash of 2 Titans. You can see our round of 8 bracket so far. We've had Royal take down Shine 3-0. That was a massacre. And then meanwhile, Bisu versus Sulky, that was a really, really close series. If you like ZVP, you should definitely check that out. Of course, today we've got our TVT. And then tomorrow, it's going to be Snow versus Hero. Another insane Protoss versus Zerg, I'm sure.
I wonder what the map is. I wonder what the map is for Snow versus Hero, because we have seen Mini was so desperate of when he wanted to defend that 12 hatchery into a Zergling Hydraless Rush and a Neo Arcanoid. I wonder if Snow is going to be playing on that same map or going to be vetoing that map. But yes, that's round of 8, match 3, Light versus Rush. This is TVT matchup, mirror matchup. I know lots of fans thinks mirror matchup TVT is boring because you just split the map in half and just sit and turtle, but pretty much it's not the that's not how the game is played in a high level game. And we are going to be going into the interview here. Light and Rush. This is ASL Season 14 round of 8, match 3, Light versus Rush, and this is she is MC she will be running this event and also doing the interview of these 2 players. Both of the players has been showing such a great game in round of 16.
안녕하세요.
반갑습니다.
How are you guys doing today?
먼저 이재호 선수 디펜딩 챔피언으로서 이번 시즌 역시 8강 경기를 앞두고
Light has won the ASL from previous season, so he is pretty much the defending champion for this season. And now you're facing against Rush. How do you feel?
일단 유영진 선수가 테란 대 테란전을 굉장히 잘하는 선수라서
And Light is saying
준비하는데 애먹 없고 또
Rush is one of the players who's really good at TVT and a very offensive playstyle. So Light kind of had some.
그래서 오늘 자신 있습니다.
He needed some more time to prepare of this round of 8 match.
태태전 기세가 엄청납니다.
He had to spend more time.
하지만 디펜딩 챔피언 이재호 선수를 상대로 오전제를 준비하는 과정은 좀 쉽지만은 않았을 것 같아요.
Rush, so you're also facing against Light, and who won the ASL champ for the previous season. And it should not be so easy to be taking down a player who has won the ASL champ from previous season, and he's also shown such a great TVT. And Rush is saying that he is pretty much agreeing with her opinion, and he seems very confident to play against TVZ and TVT. He seems he does not like to play TVP.
11, 16강 최종전에서의 만남이 기억에 남는데요. 당시에 이재호 선수가
a couple seasons ago in season 11,
투팩토리 전략으로 좀 승리를 따내셨는데 이후에 2, 3세트를 내리
Light, you won the first game in the best of 3 game
당시 기억하시나요, 이재호 선수?
against Rush with the Proxy second factory and won the first game, but the second and the third game you lost against Rush in the season 11.
그런 기억 때문에
Do you still remember the game? And
자극이 되고 동기부여가 됐을 거라는 생각도 좀 들거든요.
The game that you played in the season 11, does that affect to you in the season 14? And Light is saying that he pretty much wanted to forget about the game, how he lost against Rush in the previous season, a couple seasons ago.
유영진 선수를 잡음으로써 깨보고 싶습니다.
So
나쁘지 않은
Light is
상대를
pretty much saying that he
만났다고
wants
얘기한
to
유영진 선수인데요.
show
준비 과정에서 좀
he's
자신감을
better
어느
in the
정도
season
좀 끌어올리셨는지도
and not gonna be
궁금해요.
making the same mistake.
일단 좀 코로나 걸리면서 게임이 좀 잘 안 됐어요.
And
안 되다가
How
어느
did you
순간
prepare of
많이
this
하다
ASL
보니까
Season 14
좀 되는 순간이 있더라고요.
Rush? And Rush is saying that he got COVID test positive, so
많이 성과가 좋았던
he had some bad condition to
이번 시즌
play and
8강에서
practice
유일한
for his
공격전
game
매치업이 성사가
and
됐기
prepare of the
때문에 많은
tournament.
분들이 어떤
Things did
선수가
not work out
이길지
so
좀
well,
쉽게
but
예상하기가,
somewhat he did
쉽지
recover,
않다라는 말씀을 하고
but still
계시는데
not
두
easy
선수는
to
오늘
make it into round of 8
좀
this
어떻게
season.
예상을 하고 계실까요, 이재우 선수?
But he will try his best.
스코어는 생각을 안
What do you-
해봤는데
네.
일단
What do you think of the
1경기가
today's
제일
score?
중요하다고 생각이 들어서
Light is saying
1경기를 잡으면
first game is
3대1
very
정도
important.
예상하고 있습니다.
If he wins
유영진
the first
선수의
game,
생각은 어떠신가요?
it is going to be turning out to be 3-2,
3대1 보고 있긴 했어요. 제가 이기는 걸로.
3-1.
첫 번째 세트가 좀 승부처가 될 거로 이재우 선수는 말씀을 하셨는데 유영진 선수는 어떠세요?
So Light is pretty much saying, and also Rush is also saying the same part.
첫 세트를 만약에
First game is very important in this best of 5 series.
다 이겨야 된다는 말이에요.
Both of the players are
두
thinking
선수 모두 3대
the
1의
prediction
스코어를
is
예상하고
going to
있는
be
가운데
the
과연
score
어떤
prediction is going to be
스코어가
3-1.
어떤 결과가 나올지 궁금해지는데요.
We're
마지막으로
all-
각오를 한 말씀
We would like to
통해
hear
듣겠습니다.
the
이재우
last
선수.
word before we go into the game.
일단 이번 시즌
This season,
테란드
ASL
많이 하는
Season
것 같아가지고
14.
좀 힘들긴 한데요. 저도 오늘 시청자분들이 좀 늦게 끝날까봐 많이 걱정을
It seems
하시더라고요.
kinda
그래도 유영진
tough for the
선수도
audience
그렇고
watching
저도
TVT a lot for this
저는
season.
아니라고 생각하실 수도 있겠지만
And also,
좀 빨리
he thought that
퇴근을
TVT was
오늘
gonna be an easy matchup for him, but
빨리 퇴근
preparing for the TVT matchup for the tournament
빨리 승부를
is somewhat harder than
내겠다라는 엄청난
what he
각오를
expected.
들려주셨습니다. 유영진 선수.
so he wants to show some nice game and not gonna be
속도는 재호
making
형보다 제가
making the
빠르거든요.
game.
오, 네.
끝내도
boring.
제가 끝내지 않을까 생각 들고요.
So,
준비 열심히
Rush,
했으니까 좋은 모습으로
he did prepare a lot for this season.
감사합니다.
네,
And
두 테란 선수의
he is
후회 없는
fast.
멋진 8강
He is
경기
very
기대하겠습니다.
confident with the
고맙습니다.
speedy play
감사합니다.
style compared to Light, so he will show who's faster in the season.
자, 이렇게
in
8강
this,
세 번째
today's
경기를
match.
앞두고 있는 이재호 선수 그리고 유영진 선수와
And
이야기
he will be
나눠봤습니다.
trying his
과연
best
어떤
and
선수가
show
오늘
great
또
performance
시드를
tonight.
확보할 수 있을지
And thank you for the
준비된
interview.
8강 세 번째 경기 함께 만나보시죠.
Thank you for the translation scan. And it's funny Rush mentioned the speed because I was thinking about Light's playstyle. We know he's a god in TVP. Like, he's just absolute king of defense. But in TVZ, he's also very methodical. TVT, he also strikes me as very methodical. Meanwhile, when I think of Rush, at least from what I've seen in his games, 100% this guy seems like Vulture Man. The question every time to me is, how many factories is it? Is it 3 fact with a starport, or is it going to be 4 fact Vultures? And that's, of course, a very speedy style. And I think we are going to see a lot of Vulture play from Rush, and he may try and dictate the game right from the beginning.
And we get to see all both of the players' statistic information of their career. Season 8, 9, 12, 13, and 14. Light has made it into round of 8 5 times. And he did play 8 games of the best of 5 series, 5 wins and 3 losses. And on online statistics information of the TVT record, it shows that Light has 76.2% win rate. And Rush also has been made it into round of 8 5 times in a row, season 10 to 14. He did play best of 5 series 6 games so far, 2 wins and 4 losses, not too bad. And also he has 64% of the TVT record on online statistics information. And Light is the one defending champ of this ASL Season 14. And Rush has been showing such a great performance in TVT matchup. 7 winning streak in TVT. Really be showing another great games today and take down Light tonight.
I wasn't aware that they had such high TVT win rates. To have a 64% win rate in TVT as Rush, you would think, wow, that's really high, but then you hear Light's 76% win rate. That's Flash levels of win rates. I mean, that's ridiculously high. I'm trying to think of the last time I actually saw Light play TVT. Feel like it was a while ago though, like versus Royal. Do you remember that I mean, Soma played out of his mind. The counterattacks were amazing, but generally they have quite even scores. But anyways, this is TBT. I saw in that stat also, it said the recent 10 games versus Terran was an 80% win rate for Rush. So he's on fire these days. I think our first map is going to be Butter, and it is. It's a 2-player map. And Rush is talking about that speedy style. I mean, if he gets a lead on a map like Butter and has map control, I mean, he may be able to just keep Light pinned in his base. Look at Light, though. He's super focused. And did he have the jacket on?
Yeah, I guess Rush is going to be taking off the jacket, but Light will be wearing the jacket here. The players are ready. The first game is going to be played on Butter, Light versus Rush.
So in the top right, our red Terran and last season champ, it is Light. And in the bottom right, looking to move into the round of 4 again, it is Rush. So we've got a 2-player map. What do you think we're going to see for openers from either side?
Well, depending on what kind of mindset they have in the first game, but 2-player map, it's very hard to see a Rax expansion or even 14cc because the opponent can scout you really fast in early stage of the game because it's a 2-player map, and there's also a chance that going for a 6 Rax or Proxy 8 Rax somewhere at the center of the map or right side of the map, like the 3rd expansion there. But I guess both of the player will not going to be doing it in this game, but we're going to be taking a look at this map win rate. 0 wins and 1 loss for Light and 4 winning streak for Rush.
Dang, so this is a good map for Rush. And it's funny you mentioned the 6 racks because generally I don't hear people mention 6 racks at all. Usually it's like, okay, you got to worry about an 8 racks. But I've seen it a few times. It's really hard to stop, especially with the tiny entrance here where the SCV can, block SCV pull or Marines trying to get on top of other Marines. But we're not going to see it this time around, and we do have in-base barracks. I simply mentioned the in-base barracks because I think so far in TVTs on Butter we saw very forward racks. What comes to mind was Royal versus Sharp. Oh, was that a 11 gas for Light?
No, I think that was a 12 gas. Yeah, I think that was 12 gas for Light, but I guess Rush is going to be placing that barracks at the entrance of his main base, and I guess he's going to go for the gasless expansion here.
Well, it sounded like in the beginning you were not expecting to see gasless expand, but actually this is the opener I wanted to see because it is a 2-player map. You are going to see that this guy is going for gasless instantly, and personally I have such a hard time dealing with this build. I want to see how Light's going to respond to this. And because he's found it so fast, I mean, he could continue to mine gas if he wants to. We'll see what he decides to go for. He spots it. Will he put back onto gas, or will he just... Nope, he's pulled completely off.
Well, there's a small chance that Light might gonna go for vulture speed, or it can be just putting that SCV back inside of the refinery and get the machine shop really quickly there. And there's a 2-way of playing against that Rax expansion. That would be getting the Spider Mine Research or the Speed Vulture first into something else like a late tech, late game potential like a 2-factory into a 3rd expansion really fast compared to Rush's expansion. Or the second solution that Light can be doing would be machine shop into a siege tank with a 4 Marine and pretty much pressuring your opponent with the siege mode in the early stage of the game. But I guess Light is not gonna go for machine shop first here. He's making a vulture, and then will that be a star? That seems like a starport position to me.
Yep, this is going to be a starport for him, so it's not going to be the 4 Marine tank pressure, like you said. That Rax is already lifted off and on the way. And we do have the first Vulture move out. I see he hasn't put an add-on onto his factory, so is he really going to build a second Vulture? I don't know if that will work out for him because the bunker's already up, and I don't think... Oh, it is going to be double starport for Light.
So another mind game here. Light has pulled out the double starport. I mean, normally you expect to be the Vulture Speed or Vulture Spider Mine into dropship or something else like Siege Tank Pressure, but he's gonna be doing another mind game here with the 2 starport build, and Rush will be selecting his build that is going to be a second factory into machine shop, pulling out 3 Marine back home. I guess he wants to push that barracks away when Light is sending it towards to his main base. First control tower is going to be finished here.
Yeah, he is going to get that fast cloak, and there's the 3rd factory. So as expected, Rush is going to be going into heavy factory, heavy vulture count. But do you see this that often in gasless when you go gasless? Because a lot of times when I face gasless, I face what Light's going for, which is double starport. It's very rare for me to see Vulture Man trying to, you know, let's say Light did try and go for a contain. It's very rare for me to see mass vultures try and bust through that. What do you think of Rush's follow-up here?
Well, Rush is just pretty much expecting. I mean, Light is the type of player who does not use rate that often. He likes to use something like a standard classic with the siege tank splitting up the map in half or slowly, and then maybe get the +2 really fast and start pressuring your opponent like that. But he is doing such a great mind game here, I would say, because I don't think Rush would be expecting of the double starport here.
Yeah, and what I like is, well, what I like for Light's situation is Rush hasn't scouted at all. Like, he has no idea that this is going on. He hasn't sent out an additional SCE to check the entrance, because if he was to check the entrance and saw that this guy's got a wall already set up, he would know that this has to be Wraith. And I did notice that even though Rush has the armory done, Academy is just now started. Now, luckily for him, Wraith doesn't have the highest DPS versus ground, but this is going to rack up a lot of kills regardless.
And now those 3 raids has come as soon as that vultures start attacking the bunker. And now Light really needs to find the Academy. Academy is at the bottom side, but he's not going to be taken down. He really needs to take down the Academy, because as long as he's taking down and delaying that Academy as much as possible, then the concentration will be delayed. And this 4 raids right now, Light has going to be doing tons of damage.
Yeah, and that SCV was so low building the Academy. He catches it before it completes the Academy. Now he's got a cloak! Oh, the Marines bought so much time. Actually, that means Rush is going to get his comm sets up, but you can see how much damage has already been done. It even forces out an eBay, which means we're going to have turrets, and that's not something you really want to build in TVT. This mineral line is getting absolutely obliterated. You can see Rush is doing a good job to transfer SCVs back to his main to make sure he's not undersaturated in the main, but he's still just lost so many. And behind this, we have a massive factory flood going into 4 factories, so he wants to catch up in his ground army quite quickly too.
And now those 4 raids are going to be splitting up and probably scouting where the barracks is, and now he spots where the barracks is located at. Okay, he'll be backing up as soon as he sees those colliders standing there. And now those 4 raids are just going to be doing some work, some type of work like clearing the vulture in a game where you can see Terran versus Zerg matchup, like 8 mutalisks are chasing the vulture and pushing it away and slowly taking an expansion, and he's gonna be doing the same thing with the Wraith here. But I guess he wants to repair his Wraith first before he moves out. He did kill his own bunker and placing down the command center already at this before 8-minute mark of the game, and now that vulture does not see the 3rd command center for Rush.
Yeah, dang, Light really killing it. You know, I was seeing how fast those factories went up, and I was thinking to myself, wow, how many SCVs did he cut? But I guess he didn't cut that many, because he can also afford this command center while also going double starport and quadruple factory. And it's not like he built a small amount of race. I mean, it is 4 still, which is quite an investment. So Light, man, I really wish I could get this replay, because his eco really killing it, and he's got a lot of, you know, units to back it up too. However, vultures and mines being set up across the map, so despite taking a lot of damage from the race, it's still Rush with map control right now. He's on the high ground.
despite knowing that Rush has the high ground advantage. But these number of Goliaths, okay, Goliath does have the current booster, so that's a good news for Rush. But the number of Goliaths and as you think are standing at that high ground position, that will leave a lot of gap between on the left side and on the right side for Rush to defend, and it's just so wide open. Like there are 3 different ways of approaching to Rush's third expansion, or even at his Rush's natural, and those Goliaths are trying to evacuate, but those 3 raids, okay, I guess Light is just gonna be wasting his raids against those Goliaths, but that's not that great decision making, I would say. But Light has his third gas running.
Yeah, and I saw that armory was spinning, so it's probably halfway along, even though the armory, kind of just finished about a minute ago. But should be about 50% or 40%, something like that. But the main issue here is Light's eco is really nuts, but the position of Rush constantly reinforcing the center of the map. I mean, he's just got a stranglehold on that position, but it looks like Light doesn't really care, because he's sending all of his units to the right side, may end up trying to take mid-right. He does need to be careful to not get busted in the center. If he ever commits way too much to the right side, I'm sure Rush will instantly unsiege and try and go straight through the center.
Yeah, there are 4 Season with the 5 Goliaths. I think Light is just gonna be busting. That seems really a weak wall, or weak concave, I would say, because 4 tanks, I mean, that should be a piece of cake. Vultures can be taking some shots and just slowly breaking it through, but I guess Light is not going to be taking a risk to break it through, so he's just going to be having that map open towards the left side. He cleared all the spider mines and pretty much forced Rush to defend the left side first, and then he's scanning once again. How many tanks are there at the left side? Okay, you have couple of siege tanks at the left side, so the Light is slowly calculating when he's going to be busting.
Yeah, we've got about a 20 supply lead for Light, which is, a pretty big supply lead, but it is TVT where you've got the powerful spider mines, the powerful tanks. So even though there is a big deficit for Rush, I mean, he could trade very well, especially sitting on high ground. We've got the first drop coming to the left side, and it looks like he's going to find an opening there. Definitely going to knock down the SCV building the command center at bottom left, and at the same time he's pushing to the right side, and he's gotten into position faster than Rush, so he may be able to secure this right side.
And now there are some Vulture War here. We can see Rush does not have a +1 weapon yet. Light does have it. He does also have the science facility. That means a +2 should be started probably a minute or so. There's a single Vulture drop is denying the third expansion, and the dropship is still alive there. 3 other Vultures will be unloaded, picking out another SCV there, and that is just going to be drawing a lot of attention towards the bottom left side. And now what Light will be doing?
Yeah, Light but kills that SCV building the 4th base, kills a bunch of SCVs at the 3rd base, and Rush needs to definitely put his SCVs back onto the gas because a couple fell down there. And look at this. I mean, this is so quick, dude. Like, he has gotten into position while harassing at the same time while taking bases. This is really top-notch TVT, I have to say. Like, there is no way that Rush ever gets to the right side of the map. Now, that's a bit of a mistake there, losing the science facility, but I think he does get his +2 probably started. But look at this. I didn't realize you can range the turrets on the right side of the map from the high ground at that 3rd base.
And something that I have to mention about this game would be Light started off with the 2 port, so that means he will be having double amount of dropship every single production whenever he makes, and now he's just gonna be having the number of a dropship soon. And I think the purpose of the siege tank line at the bottom right side would be he wants to open up the gap and pretty much pressuring Rush as much as possible. Hey, place down more of a missile turret, or I'll just unload or do the doom drop at your main base later on, like how Sock really loves to do.
Oh, I think Light lost vision for a second in what looked like an overwhelming amount of tanks for Light. All of a sudden, he's getting overwhelmed by tanks. He also lost all of his Vultures. This is a huge loss of supply for Light. Now it's even. And now Rush, he's fast like just like Barracks, he'll instantly unsiege. But at the same time, there's a big drop coming to his main. But he's already got mines set up. He doesn't have that many tanks. But we know mines can be super deadly if you misstep even just slightly. We'll see. Is there an opener? Is he going to send in the Wraiths first to soak up hits? Or is he just going to be... Oh, there he goes. He's going in.
And Wraith will be taking the missile shot and the dropship safely unload at the main base. And there's a 2C tank where Vincent the Glide was doing the mine drag there and exploded lots of SCV there. And also Light will be taking the damage at the 11 o'clock, the 4th expansion. But he does have that insurance at the mid right side, so he still managed to have that 4 gas running.
Yeah, he still has 4 gases running, but that was a really good attack from Rush to top left. He kills that base, it's lifted, and this drop is doing a ton of damage. You know, those drops and the way he had already set up tanks on Rush's, you know, 3rd base really at mid right, I thought for sure he was going to continue to elevate her into the main, but those drops went all the way back to the rally point, so he's not able to drop again. And now we've actually got 4 base versus 4 base. Oh, however, we have found an opening at the entrance. There's not that much to defend, but also not that many tanks. I don't think I don't think Light will be able to continue to push through here.
And we can see Light is taking away Rush's expansion at the bottom right, which is the 5 o'clock expansion. But I guess Rush's siege tank positions are way too offensive, I would say. I mean, he did deny that 11 o'clock expansion, but it seems just way too far to go back home.
Yeah, they are very far forward, but if he can manage his defense on the left side of the map, if we were to split, it looks like it will split in Rush's favor. We've got another big load up. This time it's 5 dropships, and I think there's only 1 tank in the main. Oh my god, that was an insane scan, and he sees the drops coming, instantly responds to it. So this drop should get shut down. I think this is a big mistake if he goes in, and it looks like he is going to alternate his or deviate his course, but he's not able to find an opening really.
It's somewhat interesting to see how Rush is placing down the missile turret plus the spider mine to defend his main base. And there are 2 more dropships being unloaded, loading up, and I guess Light is trying to find an opening, but okay, I thought he wasn't sieging, but never mind. There are the 6 dropships are looking for nice route to go inside of a main base, but he can't really find it yet. And now Rush is bringing back up his main army.
This was the one area where it was completely open, and what I'd like to see him do is drop on that high ground over the 4th base. But here come the units so quick from Rush. Instead, he's going to drop over here at the bottom side of the high ground, but units are already here. Can he siege up in time? Half of the dropships aren't unloading!
Yeah, the dropships were bugging out and not able to unload, and now the vultures are trying to buy some and soak up some tank shot damage, but those drop is just so much, and that seems like a perfect position of denying the 4th gas and the 3rd gas at the same time. And that dropship, well, I guess he misclicked to that position. I guess one of the dropships will fall, but the remaining army and the main army will be moving forward. He found the weak spot here, and that's about like a 2.5 groups of army breaking through towards to the left side.
Oh, but the tanks on the right side getting a couple hits in, bugging out the AI. But this was the perfect drop from Light at the same time, moving through the center. Now he's going to have control over the center. He's going to deny mid-left. Also, that was the 5th base for Rush, and all of a sudden Rush, who was on 4 bases, he's just back down onto essentially 1, because I'm sure the main's mined out. I'm sure the natural's about to be mined out. And that means Light, he's still on at least 3 base mining, because he already took Rush's 3rd base at mid-right, and he already has the actual center of mid-right. So he's in a fantastic position. We've got another drop on top of these tanks, trying to take this down so he can re-secure his 4th base. But this is butter. He can put tanks on the high ground and knock down this 4th base.
Maybe I might be able to figure out why Light prefers to play on a 2-player map instead of a 4-player map, because we got to see the map of this best of 5 series. That was a Butter, and Odyssey was chosen by Light. He wants to play 2-player map, and whenever you play on a 2-player map, there's no other cheese you can do. there's not much of a build order like loss or build order wins in 2-player map because you find your opponent in the first scout, not like a 4-player map.
Well, he's gonna doom drop this, and here he comes. That's 5 isolated tanks. Goodbye, tanks. However, at the same time, Rush is going for a doom drop himself. Where's it going though? The Goliaths are scrambling to get here in time. He lands on top of a ton of mines. And also, there's a lot of SCVs at this 5th base that could help reinforce this. But instead, Light's going to carpet bomb this. And this could be the turning moment. All that Light really needed to secure this game. He's got a 35 supply lead. And he's shut down so many bases. But the dropships are still alive for Rush. He's still got a ton of units. He's not out of it just yet. And Light hasn't taken any of the bases on the left side yet. So it's not like he has a massive eco lead, but in terms of supply, he's got a big sizable lead right now, approaching 35.
Well, I guess Light is pretty much, he does not want to even bother clearing the 11 o'clock leftovers he's taking to Goliath, because he can just pretty much isolate it and take it later on whenever he's pretty much like dried out at Rush's expansion where he needed to take the 5 o'clock. So he's just gonna be, okay, there are gonna be the 6 dropships gonna be going towards to the 3 o'clock, but turrets are placed down. Goliaths are here too. That seems like a terrible spot.
And it was a terrible spot. Rush knew his situation. There's no way those units were going to escape, and that means Light is going to take game 1. And that looked pretty perfect to me. I mean, he took bases fantastic. He had the mind game with the race. He put down the factories in time. The drops were amazing. I just couldn't believe how fast he was taking bases while going the 2-port rate and also building his factory count and rushing his upgrades. I mean, this was actually peak TVT.
Yeah, Light has shown it seemed like it was a one-sided game, but Rush was also flipping the table around and had a chance of denying Light's expansion at the 11 o'clock and slowly taking the lead. But I guess that the drop at the Rush's main base just did tons of damage and destroying lots of supply depot and pretty much ruined Rush's macro timing there, and I think that kind of hurt him a lot here. And we're going to be taking a look at this replay here, and what was this part here? Oh, I guess the end of the game.
Yeah, this looks like it's probably the last move out right here. We see that the drops... Well, this was the first move out where he unloads on the mines, and this was a very unlucky drop position. I mean, he had to drop here, right? Because glass were coming, turrets were already set up, but those mines were perfect, did a ton of damage, and then the carpet bomb on top of it, and that kind of just sealed the deal. I mean, it was just too big of a lead. I liked Rush's comeback, though. Remember, he lost so many SCVs in the beginning, but he had good map position. He had a good counterattack to top left, but as you stated, when that happened, it gave up so much of the map that it was hard for him to cover everywhere. And Light is up 1-0. Our next map is going to be Allegro. I think we're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with that match in just a few minutes. Oh, maybe not.
Well, they're showing hot 6. Oh, never mind. We'll be coming back soon.
We are back, and we're about to get into game 2 of our series. Light started up 1-0, or is starting up 1-0 with a victory on Butter. And now Allegro, it's a 4-player map. You mentioned Light ended up picking all the 2-player maps. His other pick is Odyssey. So, what do you think of Light's chances here on Allegro?
Well, Allegro is the one of the map that has somewhat closer distance compared to Polypoid and Vermeer. Polypoid and Vermeer, the rush distance in the vertical horizontal match is maximum 30 seconds, but Allegro, it's somewhat closer, like how close the fighting spirit from the Nashor to Nashor is so close, somewhat similar like that. And Allegro, I don't think Rush is gonna be taking a risk here and go for Rex expansion once again. And he's the one of the player who likes to go for factory expansion into 3 factory, and I'm gonna be excited to see Rush's 3-fact optimization here on game number 2.
I also want to see that optimization because he's well known for the 3-fact into port or 4-fact follow-up. Players are ready. It's time for game 2. And in the top left, we have our red Terran. It is Light, and in the top right, so for horizontal spawns, it is Rush. Now you were mentioning that you expect to see just a normal opener, not a greedy opener from Rush. I mean, he is somebody that does mix it up. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go for it again, but because of how much damage he took to the race, I agree here. I don't think we're going to see a greedy opener from him.
And we can see the optimization from Rush here. 1, 2, 3 are mining from the top side, the SCB head direction there, and also the 5, 6, 7 are also mining in a straight line too. So those are the type of thing that we have to be taking a look at here, and we can see Rush is having more income compared to Light here, and I'm not sure what that is. Something about the marriage and then day 4. 4 days left, I guess. I'm not sure what that meaning for that girl who was holding the post. And Rush's fan. Rush, don't take this lightly. Okay, so I guess that's a Rush's fan there.
Well, we are waiting to see if either player will go for that gasless. We've got the Rax in the main for Rush, and Rax is also going to go up in the main for Light. So neither player in this series wants to be super aggressive. We're not seeing forward Raxes anywhere, but look how much faster that gas is for Rush. That's like 3 or 4 seconds right there. So we may see the legendary 228 factory from Rush. He really knows how to optimize that mining, man.
Yeah, I heard Rush learned of this the optimization from Royal when Rush was getting the 2nd place in the ASL Season 12 or somewhere there. And we can see the gas difference already started off with the 24 gas differences, and that makes a huge difference in early stage of the game with the factory build order here. And I think Light, he might need to avoid the Vulture War. If he goes for the Vulture War, Rush is gonna be having the huge lead here.
Okay, well, Light's the one with the 228 factory, but did you see that? That was a 225 factory from Rush, and that's off of a 12 gas. That's not off an 11 gas. That's nuts. A lot of Light's done a really good job to optimize himself at top left, because that's not a position where you can mineral boost. Like, this is so fast. Rush could realistically versus a normal Terran have like 7, potentially even 10-second factory lead. So well done from him to optimize that, and it looks like we may actually have like a 2 Marine pressure play potentially because of how fast his factory is.
Quite interesting to see 2 Marine production. Maybe he's somewhat aware of the bunker rush, where you can do with the proxy 11 racks and then pressure you with the 2 Marine with the single SCB scout. But I guess that can be one of the reasons why Russia was playing standard safely there with the two Marine standard build. And the Vulture production on the way for both of the players. Light is slowly getting the gas income here, and the SCV is about to sneak in. He does get to see the Vulture at the second.
Yeah, he doesn't see the command center, but this is 2022. It's not 2002 anymore. You can pretty much assume that this is going to be a command center. It's very rare I see even a 2-fact or any real 1-base play in TVT anymore. We've got 2 vultures for both sides. No add-on for either player just yet. Second factory already started for Rush, though. He's got the 1 supply lead, and that's simply reflected in the additional Marine that he built. 3 vultures, actually, for Rush right now. I think I even saw a 4th one being produced, so it's just non-stop from both sides. And I think the first deviation is coming in. Light added on his put his add-on on and then canceled it.
I'm not sure why he canceled it. Maybe he's just somewhat aware of this timing attack. But Vulture is gonna be sniping. I think this is not looking great for Light to defend, because he was taking so much of Marine shot there when he really needed to take down those Marine. And now here are the 4 Vulture where Rush has, and 2 other Vultures are on a low HP, and Light is targeting the wrong Vulture here. He needs to take down the low HP one first. Okay, that Vulture falls at the last second there.
Yeah, that was a clutch repair from Light, but in the end, he still loses basically all of his Vultures, and there's canceled add-on. Like I was saying, he also lost a couple SCVs, and I don't know if it was intentional with his racks, but as the racks was coming by, it flew over Rush's Vultures, which means Light couldn't actually target fire those Vultures in the initial fight. So that was either Rush with a huge big brain move or just lucky movement on the racks. But regardless, he's up 6 supply now, which is kind of a big deal in TVT, especially since he killed a couple of SCVs. We'll see how big he can balloon this lead, and that racks is going to be annoying. It's going to block 2 factories from actually being able to get units out.
I don't know how Light is gonna be solving the problem here, because he lost the Vulture War. There are 7 Vultures lead for Rush here, and now I think Rush is gonna be having the Vulture arc and probably gonna be going in.
Yeah, if he went in, I think he just wins. But he's not aware that it's a joke. He's waiting for 8. He's waiting to one-shot these Vultures. He takes down 1, takes down 2, 3. He hasn't lost a single one yet. 4 are gonna die. SCV's trying to save the day. This is just way too many Vultures. I think Rush has got it. He's gonna kill a ton of SCVs with this at minimum. There it is, GG.
Wow. Vulture War. I guess the left side mining and the right side mining is completely different. Vulture War, completely much stronger than Light here, I would say.
Yeah, the factory was really fast for Light, but just slightly faster for Rush. But the first trade is what really did it. Once he killed, 3 Vultures and only lost 1, it's just so hard to recover, especially since Light put on the add-on, canceled it. That's another delay for him, and you could see, like, Rush is just king with Vultures. I mean, he just knows what to do with them, and it's just so hard to recover after that. Watch this racks, man. It goes right over the Vultures in just a second, and Light can't target fire.
Yeah, I think that was somewhat unlucky. I mean, whenever the Vulture War happens with the Marine is sticking in together like that, he really needs to take down those Marine, because Marine does free dilt from the behind, and that took him a while to take down those Marine. And also here, when I guess the replay, he pretty much missed it, but the Vulture War, when he went in with another 3 Vultures, he had 2 low HP Vultures, but Light wasn't paying attention there, and he missed those timing there while he was focusing on the macro here. And the Vulture War is just too much gap here to defend.
Yeah, and I'm looking at supply counts. Even though Light lost some SCVs, and you can see he has 2 SCVs pulled off, he was up 2 SCVs. So he was focusing more on eco, whereas Rush was prioritizing units, and he caught Light at a vulnerable moment, and he takes game 2, and that means we've got a tied series 1-1, but it's going to be back onto Light's map pick. We know he picked Odyssey, but I can't remember whether it's the third or fifth map. Okay, it is the third map. So we're going to be coming back with another 2-player map. I think we got the Hot 6 commercial this time.
What? It can be, but... Oh yeah, there's a Hot 6 commercial we're going to be taking a look at here. So... I guess that left side and the right side optimization is just... I guess in 2022, it's very hard to make the gap smaller, or the gap is just becoming bigger and bigger in the late game potential here, what I'm seeing. So it seems really, really hard to recover.
Yeah, it's just nuts how big of an impact the mineral boosting has. I would have to rewatch that game because I'm still confused how he got a 225 factory. That's crazy. Like, did he skip his depot to get the factory? Like the second depot? It was so fast.
There might be a chance that he might skip the supply depot. Maybe it can be the factory into a supply depot there to get the factory much quicker. But I guess that 226 and 225, it's a 1 second delay. Maybe not a big deal, but maybe Rush has his own special feeling into his own optimization of the 3-5 vultures. So it can be it's his playstyle there, but it just worked out well for him.
Indeed, it did work out for him. Now, Odyssey, we've got coming up. This is a weird map because we've got the 2 gases in the main. We've got the back base, but you can't, send units through the wall back there, so you can't reinforce it. I'm sure you've played Odyssey a lot. I know you play with a lot of ASL players. Is 14cc or gasless in taking the back base like a viable build? Do you think we'll see either player go for a move like that?
Well, I guess 14cc might work in a 2-player map, but in Odyssey, I think it's a big of a risk because 2-player map, some people like to go for proxy 8 racks or proxy 6 racks, or even do 12 scout to deny your 14cc and so on. And you can see those the audience is showing off that he has strength at Hot 6 much faster than the commentator part.
Yeah, so many people joining in on the commentators with the Hot 6 commercial. It's a really fun interaction between the viewers and the commentators. But looks like Caster Park waiting for the signal for the break. Not just yet, but I agree. I don't think we're going to see the fast command center for gasless expand. I was thinking maybe it could be a possibility with the back base, but I forgot these players do 8 racks a lot. That would be a hard thing to overcome. And we are going into break. We'll be back in just a second. back and we're about to go into game 3. We saw a really back and forth game 1 between
나이레벨은 다르다 어나더 레벨 하식스와
네,
함께하는
네.
ASL 시즌 14 8강 세 번째 경기 테란의
So we
자존심이
have watched
걸려있는
those
두 번째
two
경기
games in
이재호
this
선수와
ASL Season 14
유영진
round of
선수의
8
대결
match. Light
함께하고
versus
계십니다.
Rush.
두 번째
The first
세트까지
game we got
함께
to see Light
만나보셨는데요.
pulled out
현재까지
with
두
the
선수의
factory
세트 스코어
expansion versus Rex
살펴보겠습니다. 첫
expansion
번째 세트는
from
이재호 선수가
Rush with the
투스타게이트로
2-4 rate
빠르게
opening
제공권을 확보하고 승부를
and
가져갔습니다.
took all
두
the
번째
advantage in the early stage of the
유영진
game,
선수가
air
공격적인
advantage,
벌처
and also
위주로
have a
승부를
map
다시
control
원점으로 돌리면서
with the rate and
현재까지 두
pretty
선수의
much
세트 스코어는
forcing Rush to
1대
play
1입니다.
defensive playstyle in the
다음
early stage
경기
of the game and
만나보시기에
also
앞서서
Rush
이벤트까지
to
함께
the super fast
살펴보시죠.
third expansion
승부
and
예측
slowly snowball
이벤트가
from
진행
there.
중에
And
있습니다.
the second game we saw Rush optimized really well with the 3-5 vulture, executed Light in the early game.
자,
And Light
경기가
couldn't
펼쳐지기
recover.
전인 저녁
And we are also
7시까지
taking a look
투표를
at this
받아봤습니다.
winners prediction
결과를
event,
살펴보겠습니다.
Africa TV esports page, and
자,
lots of audience are
66% 시청자
thinking
여러분이
and
이재호
expecting
선수의
Light
4강
will be
진출을
winning of this
예상하고
best of 5
계셨습니다.
series,
하지만
66%
경기 보셨다시피
and
박진감 넘치게
34%
흘러가고
for
있기 때문에
Rush.
끝까지 함께 지켜봐 주시기 바랍니다. 자, 시드를 확보하기 위한 주테란 선수의 열꽃 튀는 경쟁이 이어지고 있습니다. 과연 어떤
And
선수가
yeah, we
4강에
are going to
진출할
be
수
moving into
있을지
game number 3,
이어지는 세
and
번째
the
세트
game, the
오디세이로
map
함께
is going to be
가시죠.
played on Odyssey. 2-player map is chosen by Light, and I wonder what the build order is going to be between those two players.
Yeah, and with it being a 2-player map, and we haven't seen any real aggressive openers from either side, I think this could be the time that we may see an 8 racks, or maybe just a forward racks in general, try and put some pressure onto one of the players, try and force them to build an additional Marine that they don't necessarily want. You mentioned that Rush might have been worried last game about the bunker on the low ground. That's a style that I really hate to face, because if you pull off of gas, you're kind of screwed. We'll see if either player wants to go for that. Players are ready. We're about to get into game 3.
It looks like there's already here Light versus Rush on Odyssey, and chosen by Light. Let's get into it.
And in the bottom left, our blue Terran, it is Light. And again, spawning on the right side, optimizing that mining, it is Rush. Now this map, of course, has the double gas in the main. I vetoed Optimizer, I'm just being honest here, when it was in the ladder pool. What, is there going to be any big differences in TVT with that additional gas, or do you think we're just going to see a normal game in terms of build orders?
Well, if there's another gas at the main base, then there's a chance that one of the Terran player, well, I guess probably I would say Light would be the one who would be going for super fast +2 weapon upgrade, and then turtling up and avoiding the vulture war and getting all those number of the siege tank and drawing the map, drawing the split map scenario in the early stage of the game, and then slowly breaking it through and taking all those territory one by one and taking it away, or denying the expansion.
That sounds like a Light type of move. That reminds me of his TVP, where he's content with splitting the map, which is just such a surprising thing to say in TVP, because when you just allow the map to be split in TVP, you have to deal with recalls everywhere, you have to worry about potentially carriers, but he's fine with splitting the map, and TVT is a map that gets split often, so I could definitely see that. We do see no forward raxes from anybody. We've got 12 gas from both sides, but again, Rush with way more eco. Look at that, he's already up 40, or he was up 40 resources already, so again, he's really optimizing that mining a lot better than Light.
Yeah, here's something that I have to be talking about, the right side mineral advantage compared to the left side. I mean, people have figured out the L shape of this mineral line, like on Eclipse, the 7 o'clock, and then Odyssey also have the same mineral shape. It does help to have more income than the regular mineral fields, like how it's placed in like Polypoid or Fighting Spirit, but I guess still it's not too easy to recover or catch up. And we can see the factory differences already, about 100 AP or 150 HP differences.
Yeah, this time around it was a 227 gas for Rush. I think basically the same timing for Light, again around a 229-ish for him. So this time around, not as fast as last game, but I mean that was absurdly fast. I don't think he can actually get faster than that. But we do have one Marine for Light. The Rax is still landed in Rush's base, so again it's gonna be a double Marine opener for Rush. And I'm not sure if he saw the barracks lift, but if he does, he may try and move out with these 2 Marines. He did a really good job to already push that SCV back. It's dangerously low. It's so low that I don't even think it can come back in and check the natural. So he's just going to have to turn around and send out an additional SCV if he wants to scout.
And now Rush does get to see the command center being placed down. Rush is also placing down the command center here. Both of the players are making the vulture production on the way, and then the SCV is about to sneak in but gets denied by the single Marine here. And let's see, either both of the players are going to be going for another vulture war, or one of the other player will go for one factory expansion into starport follow-up. And I don't see a giant building going up at the corner or anywhere. And Rush is going to be placing down the second factory. And how about you, Light? Are you going to go for a 2-fact?
Yeah, so far this looks like identical builds for Rush, and I think, okay, again it's going to be basically identical for Light, but again he put down the add-on right after 2 vultures. And actually Rush put down an add-on, so both players are content with just defending with 2 vultures right now, and they're just going to scale into their upgrades a little bit faster.
And 3 factory optimization from Rush, what I'm seeing. 29 supply, and Light has the 30 supply over here, so he's just working on that SCP production really well. But the thing I'm seeing is he does not have the 3rd factory yet.
The 3rd factory has started though. It's slightly later. It is a 2-player map with what seems to be somewhat close rush distances, so that could be a factor if he's ever down even just 1 vulture. It may be enough for Rush to push through. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition though. We got upgrades coming in from both sides. I imagine that's going to be for, I would say, mines maybe, but it could also be speed. We'll see what each player actually wants to get. What makes you choose speed over mines? Is there anything that you're looking for, or are you just,
well, if you get to see the number of a vulture is like large enough, then absolutely this is a vulture war. But if you get to see the number of the vultures so low, then you can slowly guess, this might be the Siege Tank production or something else like a starport into a raid production on the way. But now both of the player knows what they're doing exactly, and Rush is going to be placing down more supply depot here. Both of the players will be having the vulture speed momentarily. We see Rush was mining the gas with 1 SCV, and Light was mining the gas with the 2 SCV.
Yeah, we do have, again, Rush in the center of the map, and we do have speed kicking in for Light also. So both players are moving out, and I like how, I was going to say, I like how both players are away from the barracks, but actually Light is still in range of the barracks, so Rush knows exactly where those units are. Constant vultures just streaming across from both sides. Supplies are pretty much dead even. I don't see gas taken from either player. I probably don't see an armory from either player. No mine upgrade kicking in just yet for either side either.
One thing that I'm worried about for Light would be, since he had the disadvantage side for the left side mineral, and we know that he might have a chance that there might be a chance that he might have less vulture than Rush here. And we can see the supply differences are slowly having a gap there. Now he's catching up for Light, and now Rush is also making the gap differences here. 85 And Light is constantly getting the supply block. He needs to be paying attention on his supply depot.
Yeah, I saw him double depot at the bottom, and you can see it just kicked in right there. We do have one tank for Rush, so he's the first one to actually go for something other than vultures. There is a big minefield through the center of the map for both players. Not many mines on the left side or the right side for either player. So if Rush can get some tanks, specifically through the right side of the map because it's so open, he may be able to push through victory because it's just vultures right now. However, Odyssey has so many bridges, so many high grounds that it may be actually difficult to push. So we'll see what he wants to do with these two tanks.
Yeah, no compensation yet for Rush, and now we can get to see Rush is sending out an SCV towards the third expansion, and Light will be spotting that SCV moving out to the right side, and he's gonna be placing down the vulture spider mine. Okay, spider mine gets cleared. Good for Rush.
Yeah, tried to block that CC with the spider mine, but Rush too fast ends up taking it out. And actually Rush has got enough money. He's gonna put down a fourth command center, or a third command center, I mean. Light gonna put down his third command center at mid left, and we've got double add-on for both players, so we're finally gonna see consistent tank production from both sides. But right now I think it's a 5 tank versus just 1 tank lead for Rush right now. So maybe he can get onto high ground somewhere, maybe mid left, and shut down a base or do something with this tank advantage he has right now. And it looks like he's gonna go straight through the center. But does he have comsat?
Well, I think he doesn't, and one of the Spider-Man does trigger, but the Vulture was protecting, but the number of the C-Tank count is large enough for Rush to move forward, but the Vulture war, it seems like Light is winning here. Yeah, Light is going to be winning the Vulture war.
Yeah, this seems like a big mistake from Rush. This was triggers a mine and it connects on the 2 tanks. So he kills 2 of the tanks and he won the Vulture War. So that was a big swing in favor of Light. But you look at the supply and somehow Rush is still up in terms of supply. I don't know how that happened because I thought Rush was cutting more than Light was. But it seems to be that Rush has the more streamlined build. But we can actually see that the reason Light's down is in supply is because he went for a faster starport. So he's got raids coming out.
The rate is coming out, as you mentioned, and I would like to see Rush's starport, and Rush's starport has not started yet whatsoever here, and we get to see Light is gonna be saturating. Okay, both of the pair will be saturating the third expansion over here, and now Light has drawn the Siege Tank and taken away the center of the map, and Rush, okay, I guess he does not want to give up that expansion, the high ground, because if he gives up that high ground territory, his behind expansion where the Zelnaga temple is blocking, that can be taken down, and 12 o'clock the semi-island expansion is going to be isolated and also get harassed by the long distance with the Siege Tank.
And there's the fast +2 that you're talking about. His starport and science facility is way farther along than Rush's. But we do have more factories for Rush. He's going into 7 factories. He's got his his main secondary gas going up. So he's about to be on 4 gases. So that's going to be a ton of gas coming in for him. Supplies are dead even for now. This is the way I'm looking at how the map is splitting. This looks like we're going to be in for a really long game. I don't see how either player is going to attack with so many bridges and so many, high grounds. We may actually get to battle cruiser this time around.
Yeah, I'm looking at very carefully here what both of the pairs of the movement here, because okay, Light does spot where the starport is, and he does get to see the Wraith production on the way for Rush. And whenever Light sees opponent making Wraith, I believe he's the one of the player who likes to make the counter Wraith and some Valkyrie to counter against it, and we can get to see both of the players are taking the expansion, the 4th gas at the same time. Exactly the same time.
Yeah, literally identical timings for both sides. We've got now the 7 factories coming in for Light. So pretty much matching the production, matching the 4th base. Rush is on the move though. He must scan something. Okay, he sees an open entrance right there. That's completely open. Rush is going to swoop in here, and if he can get to the left side, he could cut off that fourth base. But instead, he's moved to the center. He's going to try and take control there.
Okay, that random vulture, the 4 vulture drop. I wonder if it's okay. That's not a 4 vulture drop, so that's a 1 single sea tank with the 2 vulture unloading. And as a lot of SCVs are stacked, if I were him, I would be like attacking, focus targeting on an SCV. But I guess he's not gonna be taking any of SCV down. But those 2 other vultures were doing some great job on picking up some SCV here and there. But okay, that's a randomly attacking Rush's own sea snake. But gotta be careful. You are clearing the spider mine, slowly moving forward. And light, you can get to see the spider mines being cleared. So you should not be giving away that territory.
Well, this is a lot of vultures for Light in particular. Could he potentially bust this? He's not gonna try, but what I did notice is he's floated his science facility through the center of the map again. So maybe he won't go into BCs. I thought for sure we might get a BC game, but if you're gonna lose the science facility, it's impossible to build BCs without that. So maybe we will just have a heavy ground army trying to find an opening here and there. We've got the Wraith advantage for Rush right now. He may try and use that tool to get vision and try and push through this tank line at the bottom side.
And now we can get to see the counter rate, what I was mentioning about Light was making. And we can get to see Rush has a decent amount of army and he's going to be breaking through. Okay, now Vulture has to retreat and Light needs to scan up and get to see Rush's siege tank to picking up the siege tank line. But the Vultures are they on a hold position? Never mind, they're not on a hold position, but the Vultures will be sucking in. He needs to pull back. He does save some Vultures.
I think that was so many tanks from Rush, but here come 3 Wraiths and a single Valkyrie, and they're going to push back these tanks because there's no anti-air at all from Rush. Okay, I guess he does have 2 Wraiths, but they're not going to win that fight. We've got a drop going to top left, but I already saw Light was moving in position over there. There's no mine set up though. There's no tank set up, so maybe he will be able to do some damage. These Wraiths are just going to be gifted away. They're going to fall easily, and okay, that drop does unload. And it is a decently sizable drop. It's got a single Goliath, a single tank, and 4 Vultures.
But that single siege tank is doing some work with the Goliath and a couple of Vultures. But Light is losing lots of SCV, I would say. I mean, that damage has done quite a lot. But the thing that I have to be mentioning about this game would be the siege tank line does not seem pretty for Light.
Yeah, it doesn't seem nearly as high as what Rush had. Uh-oh, we've got another unsiege, and he knows that, dude, you just don't have as many tanks as I do. He's going to try and push in here, but it is rally point advantage for Light. Is there enough actual tanks, though? He's got to siege up if he wants to defend this.
Yeah, those raids are doing some work, and also, at the same time, I wasn't expecting Light would be picking it through towards to Rush's territory here. And Rush, you gotta be making a decision making. Where are your reinforcements? I guess Rush is missing and finding all of his siege tank, and now he's not gonna be giving away that territory. And now Light is going to be having an access of breaking that Xel'Naga temple, and same for Rush. Rush is gonna be taking that Xel'Naga temple here.
It's crazy how both players are basically mirroring each other. They took their 4th base at the same time. They've got similar factory timing. They've got similar upgrade timings. Both players are taking down the Xel'Naga tower, so that means it's going to be a denied base on both sides, unless somehow one player can end up busting through. And this is one way to bust through with D-Matrix, but he doesn't have the energy to bust through, but he does secure the high ground completely here.
Now that main base, the high ground territory is going to be taken away for Rush, and that is just going to be pressuring both of the players really hard, because if any of the other player or any of the player is going to go for the dropship here, then the main base is going to be exposed and no missile whatsoever. We are hearing lots of scans just went off everywhere, and that's a thing that only the worker can go through.
Yeah, 5th base going down for both sides. Floated command center to bottom right for Rush. Meanwhile, on location for Light at the top side. But he takes down this command center. But I was actually expecting Rush to reposition his tanks on that high ground down to the bottom side and try and start sieging up that starport, sieging down depots. But neither player has actually sieged down any buildings just yet. That command center does not get repaired. So that's 400 minerals lost. And, oh, Rush has found an opening here. He's dropping on top of these tanks, meanwhile pushing through. So he's going to be able to re-secure his high ground unless Lights gets in position with this dropship. But mines prevent that for now. But he's sieging up quicker and reinforces quicker, so he does secure it.
I think Light found out I guess Light found out a great spot to go for dropship here. He does have the decent amount of dropship, and once he has enough army splitting up the map over there at the high ground territory, then he's just probably going to be loading up more of a siege tank inside of his dropship and probably going to go for the drum drop here. I guess, yeah, that seems like a position where he wants to go for drum drop. He's just moving his army left and right, and those raids, and okay, I don't see Valkyrie, but those raids are very useful, taking some missile shot from those missile turret, and dropship can sneak in.
Yeah, I'd like to see Light draw attention somewhere, like right here in the center of the map, and then Doom drop bottom right. I don't think there's a lot of defense right there at the moment, but the scans are just going off non-stop, and Rush knows exactly where the drops are at all time. That's 7 dropships, that's a ton, and we've got a D-Matrix Vulture. He's going to go in first, and Rush is going to try and push through. He will for now, but can he actually get into any territory that's important for Light? He's going to try and push onto this high ground. He doesn't have D-Matrix anymore, but you can see those dropships are repositioning.
Ooh.
That vessel falls. Oh, from the top side it comes Rush also.
And that doesn't seem too pretty, but there's a small upgrade advantage where Rush has, but +2 and +3. I wouldn't say that doesn't make that much of a difference, because +2 is the one, like the key part of the game where you can take opponent's siege tank with a 2-shot only, and yeah, that +3 attack right now Rush has, I mean, he can't really do anything. I mean, he cannot really snowball.
Yeah, these dropships also are just giving Light so much mobility, and I think Rush finally recognizes that, so he's going to start building dropships himself. But look at top middle, we've got a base taken for Light there, and it's finally starting to favor him in terms of economy. Rush still hasn't taken bottom middle just yet, but he's got up a decent dropship count. It's at 4, but I think Light actually has 9, and we may see the Doom drop into the main.
Yeah, those are the 7 dropships that are going to be going inside of Rush's main base. And that's a sweet spot where he found out, and I didn't know Rush would be having those siege tank over there, but that's a lot of siege tank being unloaded. A couple of mine will get hit, and what will Rush do?
Yeah, what will Rush do? It looks like he's going to turn back and try and save this, but the depots are positioned in a way that it's going to be so hard to actually get into position. I think Rush is just going to flat out lose the majority of his depots here. Like, look how little area he has to get through. Drop ships unload onto the tanks, but the tanks are already sieged up. He's going to kill a ton of tanks here. Well, I guess both sides lose a lot of tanks. But Light, this gives him a lot of priority on the map. What's he going to do with it?
Yeah, that's another dropship just came inside and unloading at the main, but the number of the siege tank for the blue collar seems large enough, and now Rush, he needs to find a solution to take those siege tank down. Okay, he's trying his best to clear those siege tank, but it seems like it's not working out so well. And look at that speedy! Look at that speed! How fast he just load up the army and bringing another group of army to Rush's main base.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting to see on Butter when he had those turrets set up at the 3rd base. It's just non-stop tanks dropping into the main, and this is probably it. He's killed all the depots. Look at Rush, he's supply blocked. He can't build anything. He just can't build nothing. Now he's got tanks onto the factory count also. This is it. I think Rush, all he can really do is counterattack with the units at at the bottom side of the map. But he's going to try to keep defending, but he just can't produce anything.
Look how much of a dropship Light has made. He had 6 dropship was going back home, and the another 4 dropship just came over here, and one of the dropship had the vision and showing the factory line here and unloading all of the army once again. And I think Rush is gonna be fall here. Rush steps out. GG is called.
Yep, GG call, and that was a close game. Both sides were really posturing everywhere. Like, they were all over the place, constant movement from both sides. It looked very, very even until the drop started kicking in. I was actually surprised to see the second drop from Light because Rush's tanks were all set up there. But the key moment there was when Light dropped the second time. It was right when Rush unseated his tanks.
Yeah, it's incredible how fast Light's dropship movement is, and seems like Rush seems slightly slower for the dropship movement compared to Light here, and I guess lack of missile threat at the main base for Rush to defend his main base, and Light had a bunch of missile threat with the spider mines and maybe 1 or 2 C-stack at the main base to defend just in case of a doom drop at the main base there. And yeah, Rush should be checking out the replay. What could he have done in that game number 3 there? And we're gonna be taking a quick look up here of the game number 3 of the replay.
Yeah, this is obviously the deciding moment in the game. I hope we get to see the secondary drop because this is really what did it. You'll see that these tanks on the left side that Rush has, he unsieges them. Like, literally at the worst moment he could unsiege it, he unsieges those 3 or 4 right there, and then the drop comes in again, and Rush has got to be kicking himself that he unsieges those. Watch this. Those tanks are gonna unsiege, and this just allows Light to deal so much damage for free. Look at them, they unsiege. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, totally out-synced for Rush to defend that second drop at the main base, and I guess the prioritizing on an upgrade for Rush was also a great decision making, but positioning is more important than an upgrade. That's what we can learn from this. Game number 3 here, and that doom drop, how fast he just load up and bringing in another 3rd drop here.
Yeah, and then this was obviously the killing move. You can see Rush is at this point supply block, and he just can't do anything. He just literally had no answer. If he had maybe like 5 starports or something where he could pump out raids, and of course not be supply block, maybe he could have held, but at that point it was just too dominant of a position for Light. But that means now Light is 1 game away from taking this series and moving on to the round of 4. We'll find out if he can do it when we come back next. It's going to be on Vermeer as our next map. We're back, and this could potentially be the last game of the series because Light is 2-1 up, and he's looking really strong, at least on the two-player maps. But we're going into, what's our fourth map? I don't think we have any two-player maps left anymore.
Yeah, the game number 4 is going to be played on Vermeer. 4-player map has chosen by Rush. I guess Rush is the type of player who likes to play somewhat standard and open, or I should say wild open field in the center of the map. I guess like Allegro and Vermeer, that's a somewhat common thing you can get to see. And also the polypoid as well, but polypoid of course it's got removed in this ASL Season 14. And if Rush takes the game number 4, then we can get to see the last game too on the Nemesis and how the map is going to be played on a weird map, like a bunch of gas that can be destroyed and make it into the island or semi-island and so on. And yeah, looks like players are slowly getting ready here. Light is wearing the ASL jacket and Rush is not wearing it. I wonder who's going to be winning.
Yeah, but he's got the ABC chocolate, right?
Oh,
He's the ABC
yeah.
chocolate man. Well, he needs that ABC chocolate power kicking in right now, because if he doesn't win, he's out. Let's find out if he can tie it up 2-2. Okay, in the top left, one game away, it is Light. And in the bottom left, our blue Terran, it is Rush. So, Vermeer, 4-player map, big map. You're talking about how Rush likes the open field. We saw him take a victory on Allegro with just pure vultures. We didn't even really get to see a mid game from him.
And this time, both of the players are mining at the left side, and that's Soki. Pretty much rooting for Light because they're both in the same team, NSU, Namsun University team, and Rush is in a Bosworth team. And so pretty much saying to Light, if you lose, then you're gonna be my practice partner for the round of 4 that he's gonna be facing against Royal. And lots of the foreign fans are here rooting for someone, but I guess they just both want to see anyone winning.
Well, we don't have any aggressive openers. We've got in-base depot, and we don't see any SCV moving out. But as I say that, there we go. So Light is going to have a Rax out on the center of the map for the first time. And meanwhile, Rush more than likely just going to build a Rax in his main. There goes that SCV. So remember, Rush has been the one building multiple Marines. You know, the 2 Marine opener almost every single game. But this time around, it's going to be Light potentially building 2 or 3 Marines and putting on some pressure.
Well, I didn't know the barracks can be placed down at that, not up exactly the center, but somewhat off to the center. I guess there's a somewhat buildable terrain where you can fit your barracks there, and I guess he found a spot there somehow. And we can get to see both of the players will be going for the refinery here, and Light, I guess he's somewhat sensing about the CC first, like a Rex expansion, or can be 14 CC potential from Rush, and that could be one of the reasons why Light has gone for the proxy. 11 racks, and let's see the gas difference. Okay, there's a small gas difference of those 2 players, 16 gas differences, and Rush is finally gonna go for the scout at 15.
Yeah, so what are you looking to do with this from Light's position? Like, how many Marines are you building? Are you building 3? Are you building 2? Like, what type of damage are you looking to get done with this?
Well, whenever you're doing the proxy 11 racks, there's a potential of going for the bunker rush, and Light, I wonder if he's gonna be making the second Marine. I mean, normally you can get to see the second Marine should be on the way, but I guess Light is still making. Yeah, I think Light is making a Marine production here because I don't see him lifting off the barracks yet, and we can see also Rush is making 2 Marines, so he is definitely aware of this bunker rush.
Yeah, and Rush sees the Marine come in, and it came in fast, so I think Rush already knows this was a Rax, forward. And actually, look at this. Because no Marine fired onto Light's Marine, he actually thinks that Rush is bottom right, so he moves all the way over there, but he's going to find out that, hey, there's nothing there, so he just backs off. But it does it become a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. You can see Rush was hesitant to move down for a couple seconds, so Command Center slightly faster for Light.
There's one small difference of the thing that I got to see on this game would be Light has made the Command Center first into a Vulture production, but Rush did a reverse. He made a Vulture production first into Command Center, so that's a small difference. What we can get to see the Vulture production, somewhat small differences, and Rush will be having slightly faster Vulture in the early stage of the game, but really gonna go for the Vulture pressure, and the answer is maybe he might gonna be doing the same thing, repeating from game number 2 on Allegro. He does have that 2 Marine and no add-ons still yet.
Yeah, this to me is always a bait. Whenever I see somebody going this far forward with their Marines to attack the racks, you just almost always know that this guy's building non-stop Vultures. But because Light's aware of that, Light's actually going into a faster add-on because he knows that the Vultures aren't going to move out if they're chasing the barracks. But as I say that, of course, now he's let the racks go forward, and now I think he's got a Vulture advantage. It's 3-2, I think, and oh nope, it's actually 3-3. So no real window of opportunity for Rush to get anything done.
So now the number of the Vultures are coming in. Barracks is also coming. Maybe is he gonna be doing that trick once again once the barracks is? Maybe he's trying to have that Vulture and the barracks. Okay, I guess he's gonna be covering it. Never mind, he's not covering his Vulture, but this time, okay, he does take down the Marine first for Light, so he managed to defend.
Yeah, he defends, but that was a good trade for Rush. He kills 2 Vultures, sacks his 2 Marines, but he saved every single Vulture there. So remember, on the Allegro game, we had a similar trade in the early stages where it just compounded into a victory because there was no way for Light to catch up. We've got 6 Vultures versus I think just 4. Oh, a miss rally, and he loses one of the Vultures.
Yeah, that is a completely mistake from Rush because he lost those 2 Marine, and yeah, he gave those 2 Marine to snipe Light's 2 Vultures, but if he's giving away another Vulture there, then now there's a no chance, I mean no advantage here. Okay, that's a wrong rally point for Light.
So both players gift a Vulture over. We can see that the Rax was in a really slick position for Light, blocking 2 of the factories from getting Vultures down quickly to the low ground. But losing that Vulture, he's, I guess, not feeling comfortable now to go for a bust, so he's going to back off. Supplies are dead even, sitting at 62 to 64. He's now on the high ground, though, so Rush needs to be careful to not move into that position. I'm sure he's aware of that's a likely position for Light. I also think you can see when the Vultures are up there, when they're sitting like that, so he's not going to engage, I don't think.
One thing that I'm worried about Light would be he keeps getting supply blocked. I mean, he's kind of not focusing. Okay, the Vulture, the concave, the arc doesn't seem too great for the red collar, I would say. I mean, the blue collar, he seems like he does have more Vulture than the red collar. Let's see the Vulture count. Can we get to see the Vulture count?
Yeah, he did just barely have more, and he is going to win that fight. It forces a bunker from Light.
Oh my
he
God.
realizes wow, this is what, 10 versus just 5? Here he comes. He's going to try and knock these down. Tank is going to come out. That may save the day, but he's got the magic number. Oh, he sniped so many Vultures with I think he had 8, so he's one-shotting them, and now he lays mines, so he can keep this tank at bay.
One thing that I've seen there was Light was able to have that one. He was able to put 1 Marine inside of the bunker, and luckily saved that natural when he was about to get busted. And now the spider mines are going to be placed at the natural here, and now he's going to be getting contained here. And when the hell did he place down those spider mines at the bridge at the 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I guess when they were just sitting there defensively waiting for Rush to come, he put them down. I also didn't realize he had put them down. But something I did notice is that because both players were really prioritizing their units, you can see the academy's not even done. for either side, so nobody has scan at all just yet. We've got a command center about halfway done for Rush at bottom middle, so he's going to have a decent economic lead, but we've got the third command center coming down for light now in his main. He's going to float that down. Yeah, that was close.
I thought it was gonna get exploded, and dope. If that Spider-Man did trigger and explode those two Seas tank with the Vulture together, and Rush would have just ended the game there. But that was so close of almost getting those Seas tank getting exploded. But that was so lucky, and maybe Rush has sensed that there might be some Spider-Man at the bridge side, so he's not gonna be going towards to that side. So he's gonna be sending those Seas tank to the right side, which is something I like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say Rush needs to be careful because we were both surprised that the mines were already laid. He needed to go to the right side like this, and Rush is in range and gets a tank for not necessarily for free because he did lose a couple vultures, but that's a good trade for him. The Rax is in a better position for light, so he's got, oh no, actually both Raxes are right here, so both players have vision of each other's army.
Yeah, I wonder what exactly Rush really wants to do here. I mean, he does leave those Seas tank, but I'm somewhat worried about those spider mines at the bridge on the high ground. And whenever he's sending out the reinforcement, and maybe those reinforcement will just step on the spider mines and gets exploded. And now both of the player is gonna be turning in. Yeah, like I said, he will be stepping on the spider mine. Gotta be careful there. And yeah, both of the players will be having that third expansion, and one of the vulture will be sniping that SCV where Rush wanted to take the fourth expansion. But here are the double starport production.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen Rush going for the Wraith play, so this could catch light off guard. Remember, he's having to deal with mines all over the place, so he may be scanning for mines and may not actually scan Rush's main for a while. There's absolutely no anti-air for light right now. Not a single Goliath. Okay, I was gonna say not a single Goliath, and of course there is a single Goliath, so maybe this Wraith switch won't be as strong as I thought.
Yeah, that's a lot of raid production on the way. There are 2 and 4 raids, and I think Rush will be making 2 more raid production in the next 1 or minute. Okay, I heard some scan, but I don't think Light has figured it out yet. And that Seas tank line doesn't seem too pretty for Light. I mean, he's taking the 4th expansion, but the right side is still vulnerable. He needs to unsiege. Okay, those are the 4 raids are gonna be doing some work, picking up one of the Seas tank, and Goliath is here, but I guess those territories just given away for Rush to have a better position now.
Yeah, I guess Rush doesn't realize there's a base at top middle. Even though Light is on the high ground, I think I think Rush could sneak to the top side and actually deny access to that top middle base, but he's not aware of it, so he does reposition himself towards the center of the map. He knows that Light has not repositioned yet, so actually, okay, he does reposition now, so he's not going to be able to go for a bust. But look at the supply lead for Rush right now. He's got about 20 supply. He's got way more vultures, and he's going to find another isolated tank.
Yeah, those 5 raids are just doing such a great work, picking up the random Seas tank one by one, and vultures and Seas tanks are coming. Sieging first for Rush. Valkyries are out on the map, but vultures, okay. Red vultures are still doing some work, but the number of the Seas tanks are slowly doing some work on those blue Seas tank.
Yeah, even though the Valkyrie didn't kill any of the race, they did a lot of damage, and they are very low health, so that single Goliath could pick off a ton of them. But that was a big mine hit. He dealt a lot of damage to those 4 tanks and really softened them up. But it's still a supply lead for Rush. I still like Rush's position. Oh, that was a fantastic scan. He almost gets another tank. And he is going to get the tank, and he sees the SCV transfer. So he knows that this guy took top middle, and he can just send those vultures to the top side to deny it. He's also got the Cloak Wraith.
Light, we can see from the lights of the camera, I mean, he starts shaking off because he knows that once he gives away that territory, that means Light's 4th expansion is going to be super vulnerable, and he lifts up his command center. But even if he lifts up the command center, their raids are gonna be start hunting down the command center too.
Yeah, I don't know what Light can do right now. I honestly think he might have to pull SCVs to bust somewhere, because right now he's just gonna lose that base. He's gonna, and these Valkyries, they're super expensive. They're gonna shut down the Wraith for now, but they're not gonna help you in a ground fight. That's at least 2 starports for him. But we see Rush starting to scale into his factories. We see a 5th base coming down. He's already got his 4th base set up.
Yeah, look at those C's thing. I mean, he really wants to do the work here. I guess he does have some trouble. I mean, he wants to calculate the range. Okay, he fails to calculate the C's tank range. And that tank, okay, he does manage to get it, but still not looking pretty.
There's still not enough stuff for Light to try and bust anywhere. Wow, this is triple starport. I'm sure that Rush has scanned this. That's 8 factories for Rush. So he's gone from 3 double starport all the way up into 8 factories. And I think he may have the faster +2 timing just because of how the game has flowed in his favor. Yeah, he already has +2 done. So that's a big power spike for him.
And now those are the C's tank. I guess Light wants to break towards to the left side, but the arcs doesn't seem too pretty for Light. I mean, there's a small the water place, like the water pool, is blocking the path as well for the Vulture whenever he wants to soak up some tank shot. But now Rush knows what Light wants to do with his intentions. So I guess he is just gonna be sieging up once again and changing his mind.
Yep, but Rush quick on the gun to reposition to the left side, and there's really just no place for Light to attack. These Wraiths are now sizable for Light, though. He's actually killed an additional tank, but the tank line is just so strong, especially when Blue has +2 power spike. Is there a +2 for Red yet? I think he just got it.
I think both of the player has the +2 weapon upgrade, and we can see the Vulture and the C's tank. Okay, Vultures has come to help with the soaking up some tank shot, but he managed to break it through. But the number of expansion right now Rush has is so much, and Light needs to be fast. Light needs to be very, very fast and deny those 5th expansion and the 4th expansion and so on. I mean, he's guessing there should be an expansion at the bottom right side, but there isn't, so that was a wrong guessing part, I would say. But okay, those rates are so expensive and slowly fall apart.
Yeah, they are expensive, and the Goliath is so strong with this stutter step micro from just 1 Goliath. But this is causing, or every time this Goliath dies, it is just causing more and more tanks to die for Rush. Yeah, and that was also a good bust from Light, so he's going to re-secure top middle. He's back in this game for sure, but he is still down at least 1 base. The Vultures at bottom right denied the 6th base from going down. Just now, Light realizes that the 5th base is at this low ground position, and he is going to find it.
And now Light managed to take his 4th expansion being running, and also the command center also being floated towards to the top right side. And I want to see whether Rush is making a counter Wraith once again, or the mass Valkyrie and go for anti-counter, the anti-unit for the Valkyrie production here. But okay, the Vultures are gonna be start doing some work over here. Both of the players has the +2 weapon upgrade. The Vulture War doesn't really matter of the upgrade, but too much damage is taken for Rush now.
Light is out positioning right now. He's gotten to the center of the map. He's got a big arc. He's got a big concave there. That allows him to start taking bases at the top right side. The Vultures did a lot of damage. It doesn't seem like many Wraiths are dying either. Rush is underbuilt Goliaths, and the Wraiths are just running rampant. Now finally we see some Valkyries, but like I said, Light's already got tanks set up in this position, so he's not going to be able, or Rush is not going to be able to go through the center on either side. Tanks are there too. So what was a good position for Rush a moment ago, he's still up 30 supply, but all of a sudden, Light's exploding in terms of command centers. Look, he's going to take top right. I saw he had an additional command center in his main that he may have floated over.
He found a weak spot. Light has to be tracing. I mean, Light's main army has gone to the right side, and now those now the frontal line is gonna be exposed, and the number of the C-Tank for the blue color is just large enough to break it through. And will Light be able to hold up?
The answer is, if Light holds this off with this tank count, which is just one, I would lose my mind. And that is a massive tank count. He can potentially get into the third base. The Valkyries shred through all the race, and also these tanks being here opens up mid-left for Rush, so he can take that base if he's forced to. So what was a good comeback from Light, all of a sudden he's on the back foot now, but he's trying to go into dropships, but Rush has matching dropships. He's got 5 of them.
Yeah, placing down the double command center at the bottom right, and those 5 dropships are going to be loading up some C-Tank and a Glide as well. Scanning off to see how much of a C-Tanks are still remaining. Okay, what will Rush do? I mean, he's completely maxed, I guess. Oh, okay, those 4 Valkyries are on position to snipe the dropship, so he's looking for a sweet spot. Dropship will fall. And what about your dropship, Rush? And Rush is gonna be slowly moving towards the main the 1 o'clock main base.
Yep, I was thinking that this is the move. Go to the right side. You've got 5 dropships loaded up, shut down this base, and then it'll put Light back down to basically 2 base mining with his top, middle, and third base. The Valkyries intercept the dropships. They're so low. There's a mine there for some reason. It connects, and that triggers the GG from Light. Rush was in a dominant position all game long, but Light was starting to come back. But in the end, it was just too much to overcome.
That's such a fantastic move from Rush, and I guess, in my opinion, I feel like Light needs to avoid the Vulture War. He has gone for the Vulture War twice in a row. Things did not work out. I mean, Rush did not have that right side advantage for the game number 4 on Vermeer. Both of the players had the left side mining. Same mineral patch shape. And he just fell apart.
Well, what do you think he should do to avoid the Vulture War then? Like, tank Goliath? Like 1 fact armory into 2 fact, something like that?
Or there's a many way of avoiding the Vulture War. I mean, you can match up the factory count, like having the 3 factory, but we can be taking a look at this quick replay of the last moment, and we can see from the minimap, right side of the red color, the red dots are all over the place on the right side, and the natural was completely vulnerable, and Light gave up that position, so that just hurt him so much, and it just limited. He just pretty much limited with the tank move.
Yeah, and it was a perfect counterplay with the Valkyries. He knows that once he cuts this off, the only move Light can go for is drops, and well, obviously Valkyries just shred dropships, so that was the correct move from Rush, and that puts him with momentum on his side, and now he's 1 game away from making it out into the round of 4. We're going into game 5 in just a moment. It's going to be Nemesis, but of course, before we get into that game, we'll be going into a quick break.
Maybe we should just tell her.
We are back, and it is time for the final game of the series. Today's series has been really back and forth. Light has dominated the 2-player maps, but the 4-player maps have gone in favor of Rush. Just no answer for the initial Vulture openers that Rush has. And now we're going to a 4-player map again. It's Nemesis as our final map. It'd be hard to argue against Rush here just because of how well he's been playing on the open field maps.
I was also looking up on the Korean community. Okay, yeah, we can see he's eating the ABC chocolate here. Yeah, so I was looking up on the community. It seems like Rush doesn't seem like he likes to play on the map Nemesis because the map is weird. Yeah, the cross how should I say, the cross position like a 12, 3, 6, and 9 expansions are pretty much like a semi-island. And if you're killing those assimilator, then it turns out to be an island map. Then it just turns out to be very weird. And I guess Rush does not want to play on Nemesis.
Yeah, I think this map it is going to come down to speed, but I think it's not going to necessarily be, you know, how fast you are with your vultures. If we get to late game, you're going to have tanks on high ground, but you're going to mess up the AI. If for any type of bust, like towards the natural or third base or something like that. So both players are going to have to be really on the ball with air control, in my opinion. Definitely going to have to be on top of their drop ship play. We know Light is really fast on the gun with drops, so Rush is going to have to be very careful.
Yeah.
But if he can...
I wonder how what kind of build order we can get to see on this 4-player map. Whether Rex expansion or factory expansion.
Well, we're about to find out. We're going into game 5, ladies and gentlemen. It's the final game. Light, can he move on? Or will Rush get an upset here, knocking out last season's champion? Okay, in the top left, our blue Terran, it is Light. And in the top right, our red Terran. Again, with the more optimal mining path, or position, I mean, it is Rush. Now, we have not seen Rush be aggressive with his racks in any of the games. And Rush is an aggressive player. I see him 8 racks, almost 50% in Terran versus Zerg. I wonder if this will finally be the game that he wants to get out on the map with some marine pressure.
And we can get to see once again Rush has the right side advantage here. And Light, I guess he's having a bad luck of today, constantly getting the left side position. And I wonder, I have a feeling Rush is just gonna be going for a vulture build, like a 3 factory vulture build. And Light, let's see what he's gonna be doing. And I personally do not like that supply depot placement, because you can see that the bottom, the 9th mineral, you can see the SCV start gonna be mining diagonally instead of mining vertically, and that's a misplaced supply depot, I have to say.
Yeah, you can see that Light tried to reposition it, but I agree, I think it just can't be done. I don't think you can actually get it to mine vertically anymore with the depot there. So a bit of a misstep there from Light already, but yeah, it's not going to be, you know, hugely impactful. Oh, we've got an 11 gas. So for the first time, we see someone actually going for a faster gas.
So that's interesting. I thought Light was gonna go for Rex expansion here, but instead of going for the Rex expansion, placing it 12 refinery, and Rush has gone for the 11 refinery here. So this turns out to be a standard opening for Light, but we might have to take a look at here whether this is going to be a gas expansion or factory expansion.
I like this opener from Rush because consistently we've seen Light try and put down an add-on quickly. And if Rush just constantly pumps out vultures, like if he goes up into 4 or 5, I think he could overrun Light with just literally just non-stop vulture production right from the get-go. We'll see if that's what he wants to actually go for, or he might rush an add-on himself because he's going to have a few seconds lead on that factory. But somehow, again, Light still has a relatively quick factory compared to Rush's factory timing.
And that SCV is about to be sneaking in, and we'll be confirming the timing of the factory, and that will give Light some information. Hey, I have gone for 12 refinery, but your factory is much quicker. I mean, there's also the right side advantage, but it's just way too fast to figure it out. And Rush is going to be placing that one more SCV inside of the refinery, and this is going to be a 2-fact opening versus factory expansion from Light.
I love it. I love that somebody's willing to risk it all with a really hyper aggressive play. It's going to be a 2-fact versus 1-fact expand. Light did build 2 Marines, so if he can figure out that this is going to be a heavy vulture attack off of 2 factories, he can still put down the bunker and have tons of DPS. But if he doesn't get an idea of what's coming, he's in real trouble.
Here we can get to see Light is getting that second vulture in the way, and I see him sending out a vulture, so he's gonna be spotting it. Yeah, I have to say the center map is not a high ground. It seems like a high ground, but high ground terrain, but it's not a high ground terrain. Here you can see Light is about to have. Yeah, he's gonna be placing down a second factory. I don't know if this is gonna be a right choice.
Well, look at this Rax movement from Light. He's not going to see the vultures coming out, and critically, he doesn't see the command center. That's the main thing. So now, oh, he just barely sees it, but did he see it? However, did Rush go too quick? I think he did. He can't bleed off this vulture. It's 3 versus 2. The Marines are doing so much damage for Light right now. Just barely Light holds, but he's transferred SVs, so he can repair this.
And this is not looking great. I mean, those SCV needs to, okay, that's an add-on. So that's not a vulture production. He needs to be protecting the vulture. The vulture needs to snipe the Marine. Yeah, he does snipe the vulture. Will he be able to repair? No, he doesn't.
He's not able to, and it's 4 vultures versus nothing. There's just a vulture coming out. It's not even a tank, so he can't even, soak up hits. He's gonna have to fight for his life with just these SCV's body block. I gotta say, the body block was amazing, but look at the supply scan, 43 to 22. Light cut for this. He spent so much money putting down faster 3 factories. He doesn't have anything. He's losing all of his SCVs.
Well, somehow the SCV drill is working out so well for Light to defend, but the number of SCV count, I don't know how much of a SCV Light actually has, but the one thing that I would like to, okay, that's a wrong SCV drill, but he's trying to repair. He keeps not targeting the low HP vulture. He keeps making the same mistake over and over. The vulture war once again falls, and I think that is GG for Light.
Yeah, that's it. He's given up, man. It's 16 to 41. He knows his fate. I thought after the initial hold, if he could get a tank out, there was no add-on for Rush. There was no armory for Rush. So it was literally just vultures. If a single tank came out there, I mean, I don't know if he could afford it, but you can see Rush is ecstatic. That is ballsy play to go for a hyper all-in like that, and Light is stunned.
Yeah, I think in every single moment, like in the beginning, the supply depot misplaced, having a bad optimization in the early stage of the game, and also he didn't even risk a single SCV to scout whether Rush has a second base or whatnot. He just pretty much guessed, oh yeah, Rush has been doing either Rex expansion or factory expansion the whole game, so I'm gonna be guessing you're gonna go for factory expansion, and he totally misguessed what the purpose was, and that just caused him so much.
Yeah, so Rush, he takes the series 3-2. He won all of the 4-player maps. He lost just the 2-player maps. I actually really liked Light on this map because I thought if we go split map, just overall today he's been faster, but Rush just doesn't let you get to that point in the game in the 4-player map. He just brings it to you all the time with these vultures. I thought this was a mistake. When I saw the first engagement there where it was 3 versus 2, I thought, oh no, he went too quick. But the 4 vultures just dealt so much damage. I actually thought these 6 SCVs were going to repair that Vulture forever. Like, the Vulture felt immortal initially.
And that just... I thought that miracle was going to be happening with that SCV repairing the Vulture, but did not work out well. The Vultures are just doing such a great work here. And we can see Light was also getting the Eon thruster for the Vulture speed. I guess that Vulture speed was not necessary to get it.
Yeah, look at his money. Like, imagine if that 100 minerals, 100 gas is... I don't know. I guess he still needs to build Vultures here. I was going to say a tank, but tanks take so long to build, but maybe this was the better choice. But like you said, like, he just wasn't able to get the low HP Vultures. I realized right there he catches 2 of them. But this next follow-up, he doesn't get any of the low HP Vultures. That one at the top, I think, ends up surviving. Yeah, it was perfect micro right there. And this top side, or the second top side Vulture, doesn't get taken out either. Well, of course, it gets taken out right there, but it's too late at that point. And that means Rush, he'll be moving on. And he looked ecstatic after that victory. But we finally have the answer scan. The ABC chocolate. That's the answer to the jacket.
ASL Season 14 세 번째 4강 진출자가
And we are getting
탄생했습니다.
to see
테란의 자존심을 건 두 테란
the third player
경기를
who's going to be making it to
함께 하셨는데요.
semi-final
결국
of this ASL Season 14 Round.8 Match 3. That is going to be
유영진 선수
Rush.
만나서 이야기 나눠보겠습니다.
Congratulations, Rush.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
이렇게 재밌는 태태전 풀세트를 선사해 주시다니.
We got to see
너무
some crazy
재밌는
game of this
태태전이었습니다.
best of 5
결국에는
full
풀세트
games
접전 끝에
of this
유영진
TBT
선수가
matchup.
마지막 네메시스에서 승리를 잡아내고
You showed us-
이후 자력으로 다시 한번 시드를 획득하는 데 성공.
You showed us a nice mind game
경기가
of game
끝난
number 5 on
이후에
Nemesis.
시즌 12 때 결승에 진출한
With
거
the-
이상으로 정말
some risk
기뻐하는
that you were
유영진 선수의
taking,
모습이
And that
인상적이었는데요.
worked out
소감
well for
어떠세요?
you. And how do you feel
재호 형이
that you made it
너무
into
잘해가지고
semi-final?
둘이 좀 후달렸어요.
And
오늘,
Rush is saying
이거
he
진짜
knows
쉽지
Light is
않겠구나.
also
중간감은
one of the
너무
top
쉽지
10
않을 것 같은
player,
싸움이 될
very
것
very
같아서
strong. And he knows this is
그래서
not going
더
to be
좋아했던 것 같아요.
this is not going to be an easy
말씀하셨던
matchup
것처럼
for
이재호 선수는
Rush.
물론 디펜딩 챔피언이시기도 하지만 이
And he
테란의
felt
단단함을
really, really great
상징감도
because
같은 선수였기 때문에
네.
이 다전제에
everyone knows
어려움이
Light
좀
is
있을 수
also one
있었던
of-
유영진
Light is
선수의
also-
입장에서
Light and Rush, both of the
이
players are very
경기
good, but a lot of players are
준비하면서부터
expecting
마음의
Light was going to be winning the best of 5
부담이
series,
상당했을
but
거로 좀 생각이 되거든요.
he flipped the table around, so
네,
he feels very
근데
happy about it
오늘
with the
재호
result.
형이 하는 플레이를 보니까 저번에 16강에서 만났을 때는 거의 다 올인만 했거든요, 재호 형이. 근데 이번에는 첫 경기, 두 번째 경기 하는 거 보니까
So Rush
완전
is saying
그냥
about
정석으로 날
Light,
집어 누르겠다라는 게 좀
Light is-
느껴졌어요. 그래가지고
He kind of felt something
저는
about Light's
오히려
play
그거를
style.
좀 꺼야겠다
With the
싶어서
game number 1 and
범위도
game number
억지로
2,
레이스 좀 써서 타임 만들고
he Light was
해가지고
playing
타임 만들었던 것 같아요.
way too standard.
쫓아가야
In
하는
game number,
상황에서 유영진 선수가 보여줬던 이 승부사
when Light was playing
이런
round of
경기들이
16, he
굉장히
was
인상적이었는데
playing
네.
특히 마지막 다섯 번째
something like an
세트
aggressive play style and
투팩토리를 보여주셨어요.
some
네.
other offensive play style, but
빌드였을까요?
today's
아니면
match,
맞췄던 걸까요?
he didn't
이거는
play any offensive play style,
네메시스
so
베타가
that
되게
was
어려워요.
the reason why he wanted to play.
근데 제가 5경기에 좀
He
투자를
wanted to
하기
play something
싫어가지고
different
그래가지고
than
좀
something non-standard
스펙으로
build.
죽이자 마인드였는데
And Nemesis, the
다리도
map is
이렇게
not
뜨고
an easy map
서치도 상대가
for anyone,
SB가
for
빨리
everyone.
되면서 나가면서 더블을 확인 안 할 것 같은 상황에 딱 모든 게 맞물려서 좀 딱
And he
좋았던
kind of
것
wanted to try out something
오늘
other,
승리를
something
가져간
else
두
than the
번째
factory
세트나
expansion
네
or
번째
Rex expansion. So
세트도
같아요.
he wanted to go for two factory build, and the Marine built so much of the damage on the scouting SCB, so he kind of expected Light is not gonna be taking a risk of that sending that scouting SCB to figure out Rush's second base or whatnot. So
제좀
that
태태전
was the reason why he
자신
went for
있다고
the two
잡아낸
fact.
이유가 이 벌처 싸움이거든요. 근데 재호 형이 약간 배럭 더블이나 이런 것도 안 하고 그냥 팩 더블 하길래 팩 더블 대 팩 더블 벌처 싸움 하면은
So Rush is
저는
saying
안
that
질 자신이 있기 때문에
he's very
그게 좀
confident
그
with
자신감이
the
생겼던
Vulture
것 같아요.
War. And he kept winning the Vulture War.
벌처가 된 게 또 이번 경기가
He kept
아닐까
winning the Vulture
싶을
War in
정도로
game number
정말
2 and game number
벌처의
4,
움직임으로 상대를
and just
제압하는
kind of felt
이번
something that
경기는
he's gonna be
그야말로
doing
좀
well with the
인상적이었다라고
one
말씀드릴
base,
수
two
있을 것
fact
같습니다.
Vulture.
이제 이재호 선수라는 정말 큰 산을 넘으셨거든요.
네.
4강의 상대가 내일
And since you have been
결정됩니다.
taking-
장윤철 선수와
taking,
조일장 선수의 경기를 통해서 결정이 되는데
Light
제가 좀
in that game
찾아보니까
of this,
시즌
today's
12
game,
때 와일드카드전에서
you are gonna
장윤철
be in
선수를 상대로 승리를
semi-final.
거두셨고
네.
또 시즌 12
And we're also gonna be
4강에서
taking a look at the game number 4 of round of 8.
모든
That is
승리를
going to be
경험한
Snow
선수를
versus
상대로
Hero.
4강을 펼칠 수 있다는 좀 유리한 고점이
You are gonna be playing the best of
유영진 선수가
7.
차지하지 않았나 싶은데요.
일단 그래도 장윤철한테도 이겨본 적이 있긴 한데 걔는
So
좀
Rush,
피하고 싶어요.
Rush is saying that
어떤
he
점에서?
kind of wants to.
게임을 좀
He
지저분하게
he does
해가지고
play.
기분
He
나쁘게
did play
하거든요.
against
그래가지고
Snow a lot,
좀
but
피하고
he
싶고
kind of does
그래도
not want to play
일장량 만나는
against
게
Snow.
조금 더 수월하지
He
않나.
wants to face
역시 좀
Hero.
토스를
He
피하고
prefers
싶은
to play
유영진 선수의
against
마음이
Hero
계속해서
than
좀 이어지는 것
playing against
같은데요.
Snow
오늘
because Snow plays
현장에서도
really really
정말
dirty with the
계속
Reaver
즐겁게
playstyle, high tempo
시청하신 우리 현장
shuttle,
관람객분들,
and
시청자분들,
even
응원하는
Carrier if he
동료분들에게도
has to use the
마지막으로 한
Carrier
말씀
build too.
전해주시죠.
So he
일단
kinda
오늘
wants to face
세태전임에도
Hero.
불구하고 이렇게 많이 직관 알려주셔서 감사하고 그리고 이제 또
He feels very
야문과
happy
코로나
and
같이
also
저랑
glad to see
걸렸는데
lots of audience
그러면서도 좀 아기를 잘
coming
보고
by to
잘
the studio
돌봤어요.
and watching this
그 대회
TVT.
준비하기 쉬웠고 그래서 너무 고맙고
He wants to say thanks to his wife.
감스 이사장님
He also wants to say
감사드립니다.
thanks
그냥
to the
감사해요.
Gams
그리고
boss for
재욱이
the
형 곡까지
chairman.
제가 꼭 높이 올라가겠다 했는데 그걸 이루고 있어서 좋고
And he
그리고
also
기우사
said on an
부총장님도
interview
감사드립니다.
he's pretty much
이
saying thanks
뭐
to the
또
boss for
연습
members and the
도와준
leader
멤버가
and the
3명
chairman.
있는데
He also
박성균
wants to
그리고
say thanks to the
윤찬이
practice
그리고
partner.
김지성 선수한테 너무
Mong,
감사하고
Royal, and
네, 다시 한번
Mong,
4강
Royal
진출
Mine.
축하드리고요. 4강에서도 멋진
those
모습
are the practice
기대하겠습니다.
partner he
고생
played against.
많으셨습니다.
감사합니다.
And yeah, thank you
자,
for the
이렇게
interview.
이번
Congratulations
시즌의
making
세
it to the
번째 4강
semifinal.
진출자 테란 유영진 선수와 함께했습니다.
Yep, it was really well done from Rush today. You know, as soon as I saw game one on Butter, I actually thought it was gonna be Light's day because that looked like perfect TBT. I mean, it was awesome actually. But in the end, as you heard, I guess it was just too standard from Light today, and Rush won every single Vulture battle game. He alternated wins initially and then gets game 5, so he moves on. And as you said, it sets us up for potentially him versus Hero or Snow. Sounds like he doesn't want to face Snow and wants to face Hero. I'm not surprised by that because Snow is just so deadly in PvT.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of build he's gonna be pulling out for Snow against Hero, because he did show the Reaver, the Speed Zealot, Reaver, and some amount of Gun, like the combo build that were how he was able to pull out the Reaver build against the Zerg. And that's the round of 8 bracket we are taking a look here. Tomorrow, Snow versus Hero. Exciting match. I wonder what the maps are.
Yeah, I'm also waiting for the maps. We gotta see no. How does it get through, Scan? Again. Ow. Game 5 is gonna be Neo Arkanoid. I feel like I'm having flashbacks to the miniseries where the 5th map is Game 5. You know, there was recently, since I can't understand Korean, I saw a clip of Minnie talking with some Zerg about the Arkanoid game. It sounded like Minnie thought he could hold, but because he canceled his Robo, obviously that didn't actually happen. So maybe we're just wrong here, because again, Arkanoid gets through. I'm looking at what maps got banned. Butter and what's the second one?
I don't remember. It's very hard to remember all the map. Oh, Neo Sylphid.
Oh, Sylphid.
Yeah, we're missing Sylphid.
I wonder which one Snow vetoed though.
I don't
Sylphid,
think
right?
I don't think players veto the map for the.
Oh,
best
they're
of
not
5.
vetoes?
I think they're choosing the map for the game number 1 to 4, and the last map is chosen by the Africa staff. And
Okay.
yeah, I guess for Snow for the tomorrow's match, Snow, I'm pretty sure he probably wants to end the game before game number 5 goes. If he goes to the game number 5, it's just terrifying for him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna hate his life if he gets to Game 5. Because if you remember the interview with Hero, where he's the one that beat Minnie, right? In the interview, he said he found out in practice that if you just do the 2-hatch Hydra build, it just doesn't lose. So, Snow's gonna have some work cut out for him if it goes to Game 5, because of course, Hero doesn't have to play that build. There's no way for Protoss to get intel in the early game. I wonder how Snow's gonna react to that.
Right, and
If-
I'm
if we
also wondering about whether the 12 Nexus actually works, like how lots of player has been doing it on an inner coven. I wonder if that is also possible to do it in near Arcanoid, but we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Yeah, we are gonna have our series tomorrow at the, of course, the same time, same place. But tomorrow's gonna be the last day of the round of 4. Then we will have all our semifinalists set up. We've got in the top side, it is Royal versus Sulky. That's gonna be an amazing TVZ. As I stated, Snow's my pick to go the distance because he's just so good PvT. I think if he can make it past Hero, he's got a real shot of taking the whole tournament. But I kinda, even though he's my pick, I kind of really want him to make it in simply because I want to have a Protoss in the top 4. We've got TVZ at the top side. I think it would be a bit sad to have 2 TVZs. I'd like to see a bit of a shakeup.
Yeah, maybe Snow might be able to come up, but Hero is also one of the players who's really good at Zerg versus Protoss matchup. He's a drone man. Whenever he has a chance, then he's just gonna be pumping lots of drone, saturating main base, second base, third base, and even the fourth base in early stage of the game, and start just pumping up lots of Hydralisk and mid and late game potential.
Yeah, if there's anything I've learned in the past few seasons of watching Hero, it is definitely that. He does build the drones. And I think if he wins here, it would put him like, what is it? He make the top 4 like 4 times in a row, something like that? I mean, he's really been on fire the past few seasons. But that is it for us. Cast is over. We'll be back tomorrow with a PVZ. It's going to be Snow versus Hero.